Hello, and welcome to the Nerd Variety Podcast. Again, we are still here. We are still talking and making content. Yes, even though I feel like we kind of prepare less and less each week, even though we have been sort of trying to do better. Maybe it's just me, though. I don't know. Anyways, I am, yeah. Anyways, I am today's topic maker, comer-upper, and I am Hayden, and I am joined today by these wonderful people, Hannah.
Greetings.
Yes, and Josh.
What is up?
Yeah. So today's topic is, well, it's under the category of my general favorite topic, pretty much, music. I love music. I don't know about you guys. And you know what? The thing is, today, like, I usually love to listen to music while I'm working because I can do that for parts of my job. And
Yep,
today,
same here.
Yeah, and today my phone broke, basically. I don't know exactly what happened. So I had to be without music today. And it sucked.
Question. Who are you? What were you playing when your phone went out?
I wasn't listening to anything when it happened. It just because I was teaching a class, so I didn't have anything on or anything. But yeah, it just went off. It was annoying. But today, specifically, we are talking about composers. And I don't think we limited this topic to video games or TV shows or movies or anything. I think it's all encompassing as long as it is a composer that has some sort of legitimate presence in composing for some kind of soundtrack. So, we don't really have a firm layout for this, so we're just going to kind of go into a discussion. Do you guys actively listen to soundtracks? I know I used to do that kind of thing, but it's kind of faded a little bit over the years for me.
So it's actually funny that you mentioned doing it during work, because I listen to soundtracks the most when I'm working, because I teach elementary school math, and it's got like a story aspect to it. And so I play background music when we're working, and I play almost only music from my favorite video game, Stardew Valley, because it's instrumental, but it's super fun, and I have it playing basically all day, every day. So yeah,
nice,
all the time. And my kids listen to it all the time now too, because I force them to.
Okay.
This is what I play.
Who's the composer for the Stardew Valley music?
So his alias is Concerned Ape. His name's Eric Baroni, and he actually apparently just like made the whole game. But he wrote all the music as well.
Nice.
And it's gorgeous, and I love it. And it's a farming game, so they have music for a bunch of different seasons. And then there's a social aspect to it, so everybody has like their own theme song that plays when you're like in little cutscenes with them and stuff like that. My favorite is the winter music, because it's a farming game, and so you'd imagine the winter would be this sort of desolate, like, well, can't grow any plants because everything's frozen. But the music is really, the best word I can use to describe it is very twinkly. A lot of it happens like on the upper notes of the piano, and it sounds like twinkly, and it's very peaceful and beautiful, and it makes you just kind of like want to go stand in the forest and just like listen to music while the snow falls around you. It's very nice.
That sounds very nice. And actually, it makes me think of some other things, just the way you describe it. It kind of makes me think of, what's the game? It's a pixelated thing. I know that describes quite a few games now.
Undertale.
Undertale.
Yeah. I haven't listened to much of the music from Undertale. I do have a remix of one of their songs as one that I play for my kids sometimes. But that's it's on my boss battle music playlist. It's more of an upbeat techno kind of thing. But yeah, no, I haven't listened to the music from Undertale, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's It's pretty subtle from what I recall.
Mm.
Like the music from, and just these aren't really any that I'm going to go into too much depth with right now, but I think of Celeste, that game. I don't know if you played that. It has great music, and it's all that, you know, kind of retro style games, and they always seem to have such nice music now. Same with the like Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Obviously, that has a big focus on music. But yeah, those, it just made me think of those, which are really good soundtracks too. If you just haven't heard, especially it's kind of in the wheelhouse of what I listened to for a while.
Yeah,
every once in a while. But yeah,
yeah, we've talked about video game music before, and I always come back to just loving the music of like Doom, but I'm not sure if you could say the people who made that were composers.
I
don't know.
I
It's
beg,
like,
I beg to
do you?
differ. I mean, they
Like,
were
I mean,
the guy.
yeah.
Mick Gordon brought like a bunch of people. There's a good video showing how he got people together to make the soundtrack. He got a bunch of metalheads, a bunch of other different kinds of instrumentalists from different, and some people from different cultures, and to get the music together, like the vocals and the instrumentals / metal sounds you get.
I guess what I mean.
Doom.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is I don't feel like, I mean, like clearly they're a composer, like if you were to look up the definition of composer, that's composing, but I just feel like it's not generally what you think of when you think of composing.
Right.
It's not the same vibe.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're making a nice little some nice thematic music, not some music to stoke to encourage you to murder and kill, to just edge you on to keep going. But music has that effect on you.
Yeah. So Josh, what do you listen to, or do you listen to stuff like that?
Yes, I do. I think it's kind of started with being in band for middle school and high school, and then after that going to like college and needing like good study music, and just being and just thinking of like the movie soundtracks that from my favorite films, and just finding that relaxing, and also finding like just epic instrumental music to kind of help me when I'm studying, because sometimes if you listen to music while you're studying, that's when that music can kind of play while or you can get the lyrics to kind of stuck in your head when you need to get the actual content stuck in your head. So yeah, I just remember I just listened to a lot of Two Steps from Hell, a lot of soundtracks while I was in college, and I do that now. The Doom soundtrack has got me through some a day of work. Been listening to a lot of this guy called, I'm gonna butcher this name, Antti Marttikainen. He's Finnish, but his music is really great for doing stuff.
Oh, he's done? He's not doing anything? He's finished?
I say yes, he's finished. Yes. Yeah.
He's finished.
Yeah.
He's done.
The album that came out last year was his last one. Yeah, that's it. That's round the nose, Hayden, round the nose.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just great music. And also we tend to play some like maybe some soft or some epic instrumental music, depending on what we're playing, when me and my friends do our Gloomhaven run.
Interesting. Yeah, I used to be kind of all over the place. I don't know. I used to love just listening to soundtracks for a long time. Unfortunately, I can't remember the names of everybody. I remember some of them. Like, strangely enough, I always found this one a little bit weird, but like the Mass Effect trilogy soundtracks I used to listen to, I think when I was in college. And then like the World of Warcraft soundtracks. I actually really loved those. That was Russell Brower, I think, as well as a few others. Maybe Derek Duke. I have this pulled up on my screen, but the Derek Duke, that one is also he's popping up here for doing the StarCraft music, which is the same company, Blizzard. And that music is very different. The stuff in StarCraft, it's very different than it is in like World of Warcraft, but it's really interesting. And I wish I could remember this because it's some of my favorite music from any of their games. The Diablo or Diablo 2 music. It's fantastic, and that's just stuff I can sit and listen to pretty much all day. Another one is that I picked up. I picked up Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword lately, and I just always love the Legend of Zelda music. I looked that up to the original composer, I believe, who did like the first Zelda game and a few others. With video game franchises, it can be tough because they are not always using the same person. Right. But it's like Kuji Code something. I'm totally blanking on his last name right now, but yeah, that music I've just always loved, and especially the Ocarina of Time soundtrack, which he worked on. I don't know about you guys, you played that growing up, but I love just about all the music in that game. From like the Gerudo Valley stuff to just the main title music. And then all of the Ocarina songs. I just think they're fantastic. It actually introduced me to another, I guess, artist or something. I think may have been just like a YouTube guy, maybe just someone randomly doing this stuff, who did like Majora's Mask album, basically just did remixes for them all, like his own versions of it.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I think I've brought it up in our video game discussion. And I really liked that stuff, but it's again, the one who did that album wasn't the original, but like all the music it has the essence of the original soundtrack. It's just updated or made his own a little bit. But of course, I also want to shout out right now, probably my all-time favorite composer, because it's just, I find it hard to beat. He was mentioned, Danny Elfman. I think he was mentioned, or I just thought about him earlier. Danny Elfman is really definitely up there, definitely tough to beat, in my opinion. Just has a lot of fun music, a lot of good variety as well.
I raise you Hans Zimmer?
They're different, but Danny Elfman's better. I think, well, maybe not like better. They're definitely different. Danny Elfman, I think, has a more unique sound. Hans Zimmer is good, but it's very boisterous and it's very, it's the best word I can think of is cinematic, but that's because he does movies. Yes, so it's very fitting and it's very like big. But Danny Elfman, I feel like, can do big stuff, and he can do like he did the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, which is definitely big and boisterous.
No, Hans Zimmer did that. Pirates.
Oh, did he? Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes, I'm very sure. Yes, that was one of the ones I listened to a lot.
You positive about that?
I just checked. Yes.
Hans Zimmer did the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack.
Hans Zimmer wasn't the only person who did the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, but he was one of them.
Well,
I think.
I don't see. I can't think of anybody else that might have contributed or took over a movie. It was just all him.
Okay.
I'm seeing that a lot of the stuff from the first movie was someone else.
Okay.
He did the main theme, right?
Did he? Maybe.
Well, and of course, as what happens in a lot of this stuff too, you get people co-composing or working on stuff together. So like here, I know Danny Elfman did some like Avengers stuff. Not
He did the
like all
second
of it.
Avengers movie.
Yeah. And of course, he did some better known stuff like the Batman. Which Batman movie was it? Was it the first one
the first, the 89 one?
Yeah, I think it was the first two, actually. And then Planet of the Apes, Mission Impossible.
Didn't he do Forrest Gump? Or no, I think that was somebody else. That was Alan. What's his name? Alan Silvestri.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. And then of course, Danny Elfman did like Beetlejuice, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
He did the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Did he?
Well, at least the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember he's done a lot of stuff. I've gone to a concert of his music, and that was a really fun concert.
Yeah,
which I thought I had remembered them doing the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, but apparently I am mistaken.
But Hans Zimmer did the Amazing Spider-Man music and like Kung Fu Panda and things like that.
Yeah, Man of Steel, the newest Wonder Woman 84, the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he did the Lion King as well.
So did Elton John.
Well, he did one song, but yeah.
But no, they're both good. So I take back that Danny Elfman's the best, because I think, do we all have to agree on who's the best? We don't have to, but do we?
I don't know.
Are we all thinking the same person right now? I feel like Josh is.
I think it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
I can't say that they're the best, but now.
Who are you thinking?
I can't say who's the best because, like, Hans, I'm looking at, I take that back. I can think of who we can say is the best, even though he's got some stiff competition, but he's the top. He's the top dog there.
He just feels like the OG, even though he's not technically.
Yeah.
Are you thinking?
I think we're all thinking of the one of the big guy.
Hannah's not on the same page as us. She's trying to figure
Hannah
out.
can agree that he's definitely top tier.
Right, he's definitely top tier. I feel like
I just don't have enough information.
John Williams.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one I was humming before I got rudely muted.
Hannah, I can't believe you did that.
I zoned out. Okay, I've been having a long day.
Yeah, you just randomly muted Josh earlier for no reason.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe you should listen to John Williams, and that will help you.
Yeah.
Let him guide you to relaxation.
But is there anyone that you guys feel tends to be really overlooked? I know we've kind of discussed some already, but anyone in particular?
What do you mean overlooked? Because I feel like anybody could be big in their specific field. So like I love Murray Gold, who did a lot of the Doctor Who music, and sure, like he's not as famous as John Williams, but like in the Doctor Who community, like people know who he is. So I wouldn't say he's overlooked. He's maybe not super popular, but in his fandom, he is.
Okay. So. Fair enough.
There are about, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I'm just trying to come up with conversation questions.
Right. There's like five big ones that I'm looking at the one, these guys do all the movies. You got Hans Zimmer, of course. You have Alan Silvestri, you have John Williams, you have Danny Elfman, and then you have Howard Shore. All of them.
Howard Shore.
Yeah. All of them do like all the soundtracks.
Yeah.
Who was like the third one there?
I said Hans Zimmer, Alan Silvestri.
That's the one I was not familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the.
Did he do the Avengers?
Avengers. He did the Avengers. The first one, the third, the Infinity War, and Endgame.
So he just does Marvel movies.
No, he's done other stuff too.
No. I'm seeing he's doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
One that I really love, but you can't really call them a composer. I mean, you can, but this is kind of going back to before when we were sort of, maybe it was me just kind of narrowing stuff down. But Daft Punk, the electronica duo, which sadly they recently broke up. So that's disappointing, but they haven't released anything for a long time now. But they did, I think, just one soundtrack. They did the soundtrack for Tron Legacy.
I used to listen to that soundtrack all the time.
And it is wonderful.
It's really good.
It is fantastic. Although I feel like everybody always only talks about Derezzed coming from there. Because that's probably the most popular, that is definitely the most popular track from that album, from that soundtrack.
And in my opinion, that was done better by
the Glitch Mob.
Yeah.
It wasn't better. It was different. Like they changed it up some. It's slower by the Glitch Mob. They definitely dropped the tempo.
It's a lot. It's easier to jam to, I think. Like Daft Punk, the one they made was good for like, it was of course it was made.
It was good
made
for a
the movie.
soundtrack. Yeah.
It's good driving music too. But if you're looking for a banger, the Glitch Mob was way better.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely. But that also brought me to who was I thinking? It was another electronic one. Oh yeah. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I was talking about them a little bit before we recorded. And of course, if you don't know, Trent Reznor, he's 9 Inch Nails. So he's been doing music for a long time now, since the 90s, or actually technically 80s. But since 9 Inch Nails first released his first album in the 80s. But yeah, and I haven't listened to all their stuff, all those soundtracks they've done. I was looking it up earlier, and apparently they did like Gone Girl, which I haven't seen, Soul, which I also haven't seen, but you guys said you both have. There were a few others. I think maybe Bird Box. Again, another I haven't seen. I don't know. But I remember specifically that they did the soundtracks for The Social Network, which was great. And I love their version of it's In the Hall of the Mountain King, I think, that they did.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
which is wonderful. I just love that piece anyways, though.
Wait, say that bit again?
They did, I think, In the Hall of the Mountain King.
Who did?
For The Social Network. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
I mean, if it's In the Hall of the Mountain King that I'm thinking of, that song's been around a long time.
I know. I said they did a version of it.
Okay. I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah. Hannah, why you're not even here?
I'm researching and stuff.
Okay. That's fair.
She's fact checking us.
I'm looking up Alan Menken.
Okay. Alan Menken.
They also
apparently wrote a lot of music for the Disney Renaissance era.
Oh.
So, Little Mermaid and Pocahontas and stuff like that.
So bangers,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the soundtrack for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And of course, a big one from that was the their cover of Immigrant Song. If you haven't heard, it's really interesting. It's really good. But yeah, those are those are some of my favorites, and those are more the electronica route than more traditional stuff. So.
Yeah, from listening to I don't want to say his name again. Bart T. Kanan. From listening to his stuff, it's like it's a lot of I guess he takes a lot of influence from like Viking, Norse, culture, a lot of cultural music from from Scotland or Ireland or England, to make some of this stuff. His most recent one is a lot of like metal, rock and electronica stuff. So it kind of more like video game music. I did enjoy listening to who was it? Martin O'Donnell doing the Halo series, the original Halo series. He really great use of choir and strings and piano. And when I got to somehow I found out about Baxter Burks. He did the remakes of the Pokemon soundtracks, and he gave them a orchestral instrumental cover. He did the orchestral instrumental remakes of the songs that you hear, and those are great. It really feels like you're playing the game, but it's also kind of more of like a movie that you're in. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm just still looking up Alan Menken. And I think probably the most impressive thing I can see in terms of things I recognize and have been researching for about 2 minutes. He apparently wrote most of the music for the movie Hercules. That music is fire. So good.
Yes.
So he did apparently a lot of like the Disney stuff. So yeah.
I'll look him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you spell that last name?
Menken.
Menken. Yeah.
And he did Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I haven't seen in a really long time, but I remember the music just being absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like I know it's different people, but listening to the Pixar soundtracks from the Pixar movies, they all seem like they have a similar vibe to them.
I'm trying
and
to
they
remember
have a lot of emotional resonance.
I'm trying to remember who did the music for Pixar. I feel like I know. I feel like I should know this. I don't remember.
It's music made to hit you in the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is true.
Oh,
and of course, when I'm thinking about it, the first thing I think of is the opening scene from Up.
Well, that scene is designed to hit you in the fields and kick you and throw you into a ditch and then ask you why you're crying.
Yep. I wanted to ask you guys about your favorite like old-timey, old-fashioned composers. Because I feel like those are the composers we haven't really talked about yet.
Old-timey as in...
Old-timey, like not having to do with movies or video games or TV shows.
They had music back then?
Writing music just for the sake of music.
They made music back then?
Yeah.
I mean,
people still... a long time.
People still do.
Well, true. Well, do you know any composers that don't work on movies and video games and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me.
Well, I don't know right off the top of my head.
You have, of course, Beethoven. You have,
of course,
Bach. You have, was it Gregor Handel? What's this? I think of the guy. I'm thinking of the one who did the Hallelujah chorus.
Yeah, Handel.
Yeah,
I think so.
Is it just Handel?
So hot right now. Handel.
I don't remember his first name. I don't know.
There's also Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't pronounce Russian.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked. I'm sorry to regret this decision.
I also love Dang it, Josh! Now you threw me off.
You threw yourself off.
I know. Who
Okay, I'm
who
gonna.
did the Four Seasons? Vivaldi.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I think so.
Vivaldi. Vivaldi is a big one of mine. And is he also the one that did the planets?
I don't know.
That may have been Holt. That may have been Gustav Holt.
A song did the Carnival of the Animals, and that's fantastic.
Ooh, that's good. Yo-Yo Ma is a good cover of that.
But my all-time favorite, and probably the one that I would argue the one people are most familiar with is Tchaikovsky, because Tchaikovsky is responsible for all of the music from the Nutcracker, which is timeless, and also the Sleeping Beauty's Waltz, which they use in the Sleeping Beauty movie. They just add lyrics to it, and a bunch of other stuff. But I feel like that's his most famous stuff. And if anyone's ever seen the Nutcracker ballet, like that's all Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, it's honestly that Tchaikovsky is definitely one of my favorites. I used to listen to him a lot in high school. I very specifically remember now that it was Gustav Holt. I'm pretty sure his first name is Gustav, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Holt did the planets, because I remember in high school, I was in orchestra, and I was really interested in composing. Holst, thank you. I must have been confusing it with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Captain Holt.
You watched too much of it.
Yeah, probably. Holst, did the planets, and when I was in high school, I asked my orchestra teacher, because he had a book of all the music, like the full compositions for all of that stuff, and I asked to borrow it because I wanted to study it and really see like what he did, how it was written out, and how they did all the different parts, so I could better learn to compose stuff myself. And so that was a lot of fun. That's one that I really love. Of course, everybody always hits on Mars because it's the war bringer and it's like the biggest and stuff. But there's a lot of good ones in that. There's a lot of good planets.
I was homeschooled, as everyone is probably well aware. And so I feel like when I was a kid, my mom used to play the Carnival of the Animals for us, like when we were little kids, and we'd talk about animals and dance like animals and things like that. It was like a homeschool classical music activity that you do in like kindergarten or preschool or something. So I feel like I've grown up with those songs, those pieces.
Nice. Yeah. And of course, it was a little bit later that I really got into the Four Seasons. I don't know why. I kept trying when I was in high school to get into the Four Seasons. It was a little more boring to me. Of course, Winter really helps pull the whole thing together, because if you're familiar with Winter as part of the Four Seasons, that one is really good. Just about everyone recognizes it, at least when they hear it. But I was especially a big Bach fan, though. I feel like he did some good stuff.
Yeah, I think he does the I'm pretty sure this is him. Bach.
Though
the cello suite number 1.
Yeah.
Very deep cello sound.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yes.
But are you guys familiar with Chopin?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, he was like a lead figure in the Romantic era music. Chopin is wonderful. has a lot of very fun stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time since I've listened to any of it, but I do recall the name.
Yeah. It was all kind of weird and a bit different, very different from what preceded it.
How, and I'm kind of trying to lead us towards wrapping up here. How do you guys feel that old-fashioned, sort of the classic composers would feel about the word composer being used to describe people who make movie and video game music nowadays. Like, especially if we're saying that the people who made like the Doom soundtrack, if those are composers, like what do you think Bach would say if you were like, oh yeah, these are our modern composers?
I think
they'd be into it, or
I think Bach would probably call the church and tell them to go get Nick Gordon.
I don't think you knew.
Burn him at the stake.
I feel like you don't know much about Bach, if that's how you feel.
I don't know. I'm saying that it's just because of the music that he makes, But I think that
wasn't Bach the real crazy one who was so unconventional.
I don't remember. I guess that's my question though, is like, do you feel like in general composers from back in the day were like open-minded and like first and foremost creative and artists, or do you feel like they would be like, what the heck is this stuff? This is not music.
I think they had to have had a creative mindset to,
I mean, obviously they're
or an experimental mindset to what they were trying to do, because that's how they got their names became so big.
Right.
And I think they would probably appreciate or they would probably amazed at how far technology has come to keep, and how instrumental music is still we still use it, especially with our movies and video games. They will be like, oh, that's cool, how'd you do that? That's cool how you combine those two things together.
And quick note, I was actually thinking of Mozart just then.
Yeah,
it was kind of the crazy one.
Yeah,
completely forgot about Mozart.
Yeah, I think they were both Baroque era, but I could be wrong. Mozart may have been classical.
Yeah. Did we want to do our 3 recommendations or 3 suggested listening songs?
Oh, I totally forgot about that, actually.
You might still have time.
You can if you want.
Okay.
We don't have to play it unless you just want to.
But. We don't have time. But I want to suggest Thomas Bergerson's Humanity. I think I sent that to y'all. I've been listening to that. That album that song came out in July of last year. I've been listening to it ever since. It's like one of my favorite instrumental songs. Also, King Sunset by Ludwig Göransson. It's from the song The Black Panther soundtrack.
That had a good soundtrack.
Score. And then, of course, John Williams' Duel of the Fates, which is why I was muted beginning up before the podcast.
Yeah. It's because you weren't doing it very well.
I needed more of me, or I needed someone to join in,
Yeah. That happens with Duel of the Fates. Plus, you might have caught on fire if you did it correctly.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Hannah?
I've got 2 that I'm thinking of. First, to add a third, first of all, just go watch some Disney movies. Listen to music. It's great stuff. But my 2 specific recommendations are the Stardew Valley winter music. There's 3 songs. They're all fantastic. The winter music is my favorite. And then Murray Gold doing the music for season 3 of Doctor Who. There's a song called This Is Gallifrey. And it's just, the whole thing is just like an adventure, and it's gorgeous and makes you feel things. It's so good.
Feelings.
Emotions.
Nice. Well, I kind of went over my suggestions earlier. So if I just wanted to throw 3 out there, I'd say Derezzed from the Tron Legacy soundtrack. Honestly, I got Immigrant Song from that one, or In the Hall of the Mountain King, or all of those.
Okay.
Yeah. We're pretty much out of time, so what are we doing next week?
Next week, we'll have a guest on the show, my good friend Matthew Burton. We're going to be talking about media that has inspired us from when we were younger, and then looking at media that motivates us to make us do what we're not doing, or make us do more of what we're doing.
Okay, sounds good. I think we could all use a little motivation, or a lot of motivation. It's always good. Whatever amount, at least there's
some motivation is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, So thank you guys for listening this time. Hopefully you'll check out some of our recommendations or send some of your own recommendations our way, because I don't know about you guys, I love listening to music. What can I say? So yeah.
Please and thank you.
Indeed. Come catch us next time when we talk about motivation. And until then, nerd out.
Nerd out.
Nerd out.